Hey team, what's crack-a-lackin'? How you guys doing? So good to see you guys today. Um, During this next couple weeks over this leadership podcast time, I want to speak to you on this topic and set this general theme of practicing boundaries. This Amanda brought this up while we were at our Leaders Advance weekend. It was a little bit of a hot topic. Asked a lot of really good questions. And since we've been back, my mind's been kind of stewing over some things. I've had some conversations with some people trying to get some second opinion, some different perspective on some from some seasoned ministers, if you will, and just trying to make sure that we're lining up with what's healthy for our youth ministry. And so for over the next 4 weeks, we're going to be talking about some of these boundaries. And so starting today, going straight to our handbook, page 16, I'm going to read something from there, and then we're just going to branch our discussion off of this, okay? And this is just to reiterate, some of the stuff that we want to see implemented into the youth ministry. I'll be referencing some stuff that we've talked about over at Leaders Advance weekend, but I want us to really grab a hold of the whole point and purpose behind why we're even talking about some of this stuff. We obviously want to see the students protected down at the salvage yard. We want it to feel like a safe place. It really touches my heart that when Quinn first started coming, his biggest thing was, this is a place that felt safe. This is a place that made me feel like I could be myself, that was accepting. That is so cool. That's what we're looking for. And so I bring this stuff up not to say that we're doing a bad job. We're doing a great job, I think, but there are areas where we could, I think, tighten up even a little bit more. And if we're going to grow, we need to make sure that we have systems set in place, policies set in place, guardrails set in place, boundaries set in place, so that when we do grow, the foundation is already set and laid for us to receive and shepherd and steward very faithfully even more students. Because as more students come, the problems are only going to grow. And so we need to be faithful stewards of what God has given us right now and be able to move forward in that. So page 16 of your Leader's Handbook, if you have it, says this: as a member of our ministry team, it is absolutely essential that you practice healthy boundaries with students at all times for their safety and for yours. These guidelines exist to protect students from harm and to protect you from false allegations. The other thing that's really big and really huge when we talk about this is I also want to be able to protect you guys. At the previous youth ministry Alyssa and I were at, they had an incident where a youth leader slept with one of the students, and it was actually multiple students, and there was inappropriate contact, and it tore the youth ministry apart. It was like a youth pastor's worst nightmare to have one of the leaders in the group sleep with some of the students, and so absolutely has devastating effects. We want to avoid it at all costs, and so it's to protect the students, number one, but then also to protect you guys. It's to protect Alyssa and I as well, and so I want to go to bat for you. I want to be able to be on your team. I want you guys to be on my team when it comes to keeping each other safe. And so there's just some boundaries and some guidelines that we've got to talk about. And so one thing we talked about on the Leaders Advance weekend, and this is what I'm going to highlight for today, we had talked about never being alone with a student of the opposite sex. And so we addressed that on page 16 under practicing boundaries. And what I want to communicate is that, when we were talking about that at Leaders Advance, we really had kind of set this tone that, you don't ever have one-on-one discipleship time with a student of the opposite sex at all. I mean, there's no reason to. There's no reason for my wife to ever have, one-on-one time with Quinn and disciple him. She's not a guy. She has no idea what he's going through. Now, Chris and I are guys. We know what Quinn is going through. We've been there, done that. Therefore, it is appropriate for us to disciple them. And so we do want to instill that rule. If you're doing one-on-one discipleship, it has got to happen same sex, okay, same gender, and we'll do discipleship in that process. Now, what I want to clarify, because I feel like at Leaders Advance weekend I kind of brought a negative tone to this and really a hesitant tone to this, and this wasn't my implication or really what I was trying to accomplish. But I think I may have set this tone and not meaning to. And so we had talked about even being careful doing one-on-one discipleship with a student of the same gender, of the same sex. And the reality is discipleship happens one-on-one. I mean, look at what happened with Taryn. Taryn spent time with Pastor Josh one-on-one when he was the youth pastor, and then as PJ and I transitioned into when I transitioned into the youth pastor, then I spent one-on-one time with Taryn, and there was a huge transformation there. Discipleship happened one-on-one, and so to say that it doesn't happen one-on-one would be a little bit hypocritical of me. And I know I said that at Leaders Advance, but I don't want you guys to feel like I'm chaining you or telling you that you can't do one-on-one discipleship, because that can be the most powerful tool that you have as a leader, to be able to invest one-on-one into a student. And so when it comes to students of the same sex, I want to encourage you to engage in that kind of discipleship if the opportunity presents itself. Keep students in the loop. Obviously, be careful who you choose, but I felt like I'd kind of created this negative tone that, we want to avoid even same-sex discipleship one-on-one. And, that wasn't my intention at all. And so to clarify that, go for it. One-on-one discipleship is amazing. It is awesome. We're going to see students grow as we bring those students underneath our wings. Those are the ones you're going to do life with. Those are the ones you're going to pour into. And so, and I'm gonna leave that at that for now. So we're almost at 7 minutes. So that'll be our leadership lesson for today, practicing boundaries. And for the next 3 weeks, we'll continue to set up guardrails and what it means to be a safe youth ministry. So love you guys, praying for you. Hope you're having an amazing day. Love you, miss you already. Can't wait to see you guys on Wednesday. All right, peace.